Coming soon to a theater near you.
Yo, Mr. Marin here. This is episode 3 of ReelTalk Film Society. I'm here with my man RB3. RB, what's good with you?
Man, I'm good, man. Just another week, man.
I hear you. Now, I normally ask what are you watching, but I know what we all watch. We film heads, cinephiles, whatever you want to call us. We was definitely watching the Oscars this past Sunday. The 95th Oscars just happened this past Sunday, and I ain't gonna hold you, man. I was a little underwhelmed.
Yeah.
I was a little underwhelmed. I'm gonna tell you, when was the Best Supporting Actress award? That was the second one?
That was, it happened a little later. I think it was like around I guess it was maybe like the third or fourth.
That's when I stopped watching the show. Yeah. I'm not gonna hold you. I stopped watching the show. Yeah. Now, if y'all been paying attention, the great Angela Bassett coming off of Wakanda Forever, she gets nominated.
Yeah. Front
runner. It looks like did she win the Golden Globe?
She did.
Got the Golden Globe, got the NAACP Image Award, all of that, which I knew that was a given. That was a layup. I seen the equally great Jamie Lee Curtis get the SAG Award.
Right.
I got a little nervous.
Right.
I was like, oh, okay. They threw a little curveball there because I saw what was the name of that movie?
Everything Everywhere.
All at Once. I didn't really care for it that much. It's not a bad movie. It's just, it was okay.
Right.
It was okay. There was a lot of good things in it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of good things in it. But Jamie Lee was barely in the movie.
Right.
You know?
She was a token white.
Yeah. And then playing a Karen at that.
Right.
So, I wasn't really feeling, I love Jamie Lee, so I wasn't really feeling seeing her in that light anyway. So while she did good, I was just kind of like, whatever.
Right. Yeah, man, it was tough. I love Marvel movies. What I mean? We have a lot of Marvel aesthetic up in here, and I'm a big Angela Bassett fan. I think I might have said this on the podcast before, but me and Angela Bassett, church members together.
I feel like you told me that. At some point.
Yeah. West Angeles Church of God in Christ, LA. What's up?
You seen Angela Bassett? You seen her?
Yeah. Angela, her husband Courtney B. Vance was sitting right next to her. They're like dope. Frequent church members. Yeah, they be coming like mad all the time. I was rooting for her just on that tip, you know what I mean? On the tip of what's love got to do with it. Back in the 90s, 30 years ago. She was the front runner back then. People don't realize that. She had won the Golden Globe back then. She had won a lot of awards leading up to that award season too. A lot of people thought she was going to win that, but she didn't as well. So it's like, we kind of almost thought the Academy was going to give that retribution, but it didn't end up happening that way. So
her face when they announced the winner.
Heartbreaking.
It was tough to watch. And then, of course, you got white people on Twitter. Oh, she needs to be a good sport. And she was sitting in front row.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
It's like they teed her up to win.
Yeah. It was almost like the Chadwick Boseman thing again.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? It was like, I was so sure. I mean, granted, like I said, the SAG thing kind of worried me. But I was like, nah, they gonna give it to my girl.
Right. Because SAG had went to Jamie Lee Curtis, and then the BAFTA, the British one, I went to Kerry Condon from
I didn't know that.
The Banshees of Inisherin. Yeah, so it was like a couple of awards that were leading up to it that were kind of like this, a little bit of seasoning, leading up to it. But again, I think people, it's the silent backlash that people have with the Angela Riseborough situation. It's like, I saw people on Twitter talking about they should fund a white till and see if that would get the same kind of backlash or something like that. Some crazy stuff, bro. It's literally people, those EW articles, the anonymous voters.
I hate them shits. Every time them shits come in, they're like the worst. Why do they even publish that shit?
Right.
It's just it just shows me how ignorant the Academy voters, some of them, not all, some of them are, and it's just like, are they even watching these movies? Do they even care? And it's clear bias. What was there was a nasty quote about Viola Davis, and Gina Prince Bythewood.
Yeah, something about the lady director should like sit down and shut up. Or something to that effect. Yeah.
And it was an actor they said that, right?
Yeah. And they literally said later in that same article that they never even saw The Woman King. So it's like, hey, you're speaking on some issue that you just have no idea about.
This is nasty. It's nasty, bro. It's so nasty. And you know, again, Angie, you know, Angela Bassett, she lost.
Yeah.
And that was tough. And I at that point I said, you know what? Let me go watch the Knicks beat the Lakers out. You know what I'm saying? Let me watch my boys wash up the bum ass Lakers.
Hey, man.
So
the Lakers are on the Lakers on a 4-game winning streak. We were due to take an L at some point. You know, it came to the Knicks. I'm glad Spike was in attendance. Denzel was in front row.
Oh yeah, that was dope. That was dope. Denzel wearing the all black old head fit. He wears that shit every game.
Every game. Yeah, he's a ticket holder. He's a season ticket holder. That's my life goal, is to be a Laker.
I hear that.
Front row. You know what I mean?
Like, yo, what's good with Jack Nicholson? Is he still around?
I heard he's not in good health, man.
Ooh.
I heard he's not in good health. But I mean, I'm praying. You know, hoping he's a legend.
Yeah, shout out to my guy Jack. Man. Shout out to my guy Jack. And speaking of unproblematic whites. Congratulations to Jamie Lee. I like Jamie Lee.
It kind of unproblematic. I feel like she speaks on a lot more black issues than like she probably has a lot, you know, more presence for. Yeah, I feel that way, but it's cool. You know, what I mean?
you know, she's okay with me.
Yeah,
she's okay with me.
Yeah, she's good.
She's good in my book. A genre. You know, there's just so much layers to that thing, because it's like you had Angela Bassett, who was overdue for an award at this point. And then you have the Academy, who's had a long-standing history of complications with horror.
Genre in general.
Yeah. And then you got Jamie Lee, Scream Queen. You know what I'm saying? So it was so like I got on Twitter, you know, Black Twitter. They love them some Angela Bassett, rightfully so.
Right.
And they was getting in Jamie Lee's ass. And I was like, whoa. Respect Jamie Lee. We gonna be mad, but let's show love to Jamie Lee. You know, it's still, I'm so torn. It's just that was a rough one. And I love the Oscars. I've been watching this shit since I was like 6 years old.
Right.
And I couldn't do it. I was just so.
It's the Super Bowl for movie fans.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This is like when the ref makes just a terrible call.
Yes.
And you just can't stick around for the rest of the game. But I feel like for me, you know, listen, I like Jamie Lee Curtis too. You know what I mean? I'm gonna keep it real though. She's the OG Nepo baby. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
she definitely
was it Tony Curtis?
Tony Curtis
and Janet Leigh.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like she comes from 2 Hollywood legends. Yeah. She literally got cast in Halloween because
Janet Leigh was her mom.
Exactly. So it's like
Psycho. If y'all don't know the iconic shower scene, you know, shorty they get stabbed up. That's Jamie Lee's mother.
Right. And Tony Curtis, if you don't know any of Hollywood history, he's one of the old school Hollywood, you know, kings of Hollywood. So it's like, you know, she didn't win an Oscar at that point. It was definitely overdue. I'm glad a genre film, you know, even though I don't know, you're not the biggest fan of Everything Everywhere. You know, I like it. I like that sci-fi. You know what I mean? I like the fact that a sci-fi movie ended up taking home Best Picture. It's technically the first sci-fi movie to ever win Best Picture. I mean, some people would categorize Shape of Water sci-fi.
I like Shape of Water.
Yeah. But there really hasn't been a true like science fiction movie that's won like the Academy Award. You know, besides Shape of Water, if you count that. So
I mean, small progress, but it came at the expense of my Queen Mother Angela Bassett, man.
Yeah.
Yo, love and light to Angela Bassett, man. We love you.
Yes.
I can't wait till you give us another great award nominee. Look, man, give it whatever it is she do next, give it an Oscar. I don't even care what it is at this point. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I heard Ryan Coogler got another film cooking up about like the Atlanta. It's about the Atlanta teachers that like go on strike or something like that. And I think Michael B. Jordan's in it. I think Angela Bassett's in it.
That's like his Robert De Niro.
Yeah, exactly. You know? So I think that might be the one that hopefully they look at. I mean, you know what I mean? Like I feel like if you got Angela Bassett in any movie, you should just aim for the Oscar at this point.
Absolutely. Like, and you got Coogler behind the camera. He's gonna get that performance.
Yeah.
Like, yo, my man was getting Oscar nominated performances in a damn Marvel film. Like that shit was, everybody was so good in Wakanda Forever. Everybody.
Letitia Wright. Nobody talks about that performance. She was excellent in that movie.
But that monologue Angela Bat. Oh,
that's great. Both monologues. She gave the monologue at the beginning when she was in front of the UN.
Yes.
And then she gave another monologue, obviously, to Okoye.
Oh,
but there was, man, not speak on Ryan Coogler. I was just rewatching Creed the other day. The fact that he got Stallone to actually act, you know what I mean? Like, he was actually good in that movie.
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
That's crazy.
You
like,
you know what I'm saying? You get that guy to act. Like, come on, you are legit. Ryan Coogler is the truth, man. He's definitely one of them ones. Shout out to, I did not know about that. Just the other day I was thinking, I'm like, yo, I wonder what he got next in the pipeline. I didn't know that. That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah. He also directed he's going to direct a couple episodes of that TV show Ironheart. That's
really?
Yeah, that's it's a spinoff of the Riri Williams spinoff show. Yeah.
All right now. Yeah, Marvel need to step it up with the TV thing because it was last phase was a little rough on the TV.
Super rough.
So hopefully Ironheart does that. That was the first Oscar since the infamous slap.
Right.
Which was covered the week prior.
Chris
Rock's live special. You watched it?
I watched it. Yeah. I think we both had some thoughts on it. You know what I mean?
Let me say this. Man.
Right.
We are in Women's History Month. Shout out to my sister, Jada Pinkett Smith. I'm not going to go too deep into it. But I will say, I don't see nobody talking about black men's mental health.
Okay. Right.
And I'm not team nobody. But we need to care. We need to show love to these brothers, Will Smith, Chris Rock. Something happened to Will. He fucking flipped.
Right.
And in return, what we saw last, 2 weeks ago, Chris Rock is dealing with some shit.
Right. He slapped back. You know what I mean?
He's dealing with some shit. So,
right.
I mean, I feel like brothers' mental health is like entertainment at this point.
Right.
And it's fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
It's fucked up because it's like everybody sees us, in our highs and, really in our lows. They both at their lows at this point, as far as mentally with the whole shit. And it's just like, everybody's like, I'll slap him again. And then, yeah, Chris, tell that bitch. It's like, yo, these brothers is trying to work it out. You know what I'm saying? Will definitely tripped and Chris is dealing with some shit. Shout out to both brothers, man. I just hope they squash that shit.
They should squash it. That'll be a legendary squash.
Please, let's keep the peace. Right. I ain't even gonna go too much. And we are not that podcast. We're not gonna do a deep dive
into the whole thing.
Because that'll be a whole nother conversation. We're not here for that. We're here for peace. We're here to talk movies. And speaking of movies, I am a huge Scream fan. Right. You are a huge Scream fan. Scream 6 just released. I was looking forward to this film. From the minute I stepped out of Scream 5, I was looking forward to this film. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I like Scream 5. You know, I didn't really have a lot of expectations for this one, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, cool. I was cool on Scream 5. When they bring the same directors back, I kind of get a little worried. Like, is it going to be repetitive? Is it going to be another thing? And then I saw, it's taking place in New York. Homie was wearing the Timbs. I was like, yo, this is kind of crazy. Like,
yeah, the New York thing. I really look forward to that because it was like, okay, I looked forward to it until I heard that it was shot in Montreal. I was like, it's going to be another Jason Takes Manhattan, fake New York, Rumble in the Bronx, fake New York situation. But yeah, man, I'm a huge fan of the Scream franchise. Like, I go back to the first film. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember my aunt. Shout out to my aunt Mandy. She was the cool aunt. She was like closer to me. Well, I mean, she's an adult, but she was kind of like the young adult in the crib. And she went on a date to see Scream. Now, when that movie was out, well, the commercials were showing. I'm seeing Drew Barrymore. I knew who Drew Barrymore was. She was the it girl at the time. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I asked her, yo, how was that Drew Barrymore movie? She was like, Drew Barrymore. She's dead in the first 10 minutes. I'm like, wait, what? I was like, oh, hell no. So, so I ended up renting that at Blockbuster. Fell in love with it immediately. Scream, the first Scream is a perfect film. 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5, whatever you want to call it. My boy, Wes Craven put his foot in that one. Well, Kevin Williamson, the writing was just, it was meta. It was just so good and just beat for beat. Like I could watch that and I don't. There's not a moment that I'm bored.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I fell in love with the film from there. And the first Scream film I saw in theater was Scream 2, which starred, going back to the conversation we just had, the Jada Pinkett Smith. That was my crush when I was a kid. Yeah, I remember I was watching MTV News and they was talking about the new Scream, and I caught a glimpse of her. I'm like, yo, Jada's in this joint?
Right.
Oh, they got, because the big problem I had with the first Scream, where's the black people at?
Right.
There's no black people in Woodsboro?
Right. None at all. Right.
You know what I'm saying? So now I see Jada, I see Omar. I'm like, oh, shit, yo. So I remember I got the soundtrack early. My grandmother, she was working in a movie theater, had some connections, got me the soundtrack early. I was a big soundtrack person because that was the 90s. That was the decade of the soundtracks. You know what I'm saying? Master P is on the soundtrack. First song on the soundtrack.
Really?
D'Angelo's on the soundtrack. I say, yo.
Right.
Of course, I go to those songs. Scream. Master P is. I was like, yo, I love that record. Then D'Angelo has She's Always in My Hair, which is a Prince cover record. Fire, produced by Raphael Sadiq. I was on it. I was like, that was my favorite song at the time. So I remember that night I'm going to the movies. You know, I'm singing the D'Angelo song to myself. I'm hyped. I'm about to go see Scream 2. I get in the theater, sit down. Dimension logo start to show. They start playing. She's Always in My Hair. I'm like, oh shit, D'Angelo. I said, wait a minute. Why are they playing D'Angelo? Movie theater, black people dying first. I was as Jada. I was like, no, yo, that shit hurt my That was a sad one. I remember, and I remember when she, Jada got stabbed. Spoiler alert! If you ain't see Scream 2,
right.
Jada Pinkett and Omar Epps is in the beginning. They're going to go see Stab. That's a very important scene in the franchise because that establishes the Stab movies. They watching the Stab movies. Your man Omar Epps go to use the bathroom. Being nosy, trying to listen to the next stall, catches it in the air. Jada Pinkett gets stabbed up. She dies wailing. She wails before she dies. Oh, the whole theater started clapping. Like, people was really feeling that shit. And Scream 2 is like my favorite in the franchise. Like,
really?
Scream is the best one. Scream 2 is my favorite.
Right. It's like a Back to the Future Part 2 kind of situation for
Exactly. I think Scream 2 is like one of the greatest sequels ever. T2, Back to the Future 2, Empire Strikes Back. Right. Scream 2 is right there.
I never thought about that like that. See, I've always highly regarded the first, like, you know, back before, like, I really had a real answer to, like, what was my favorite horror movie, I always would say Scream because, like, that was my default. To be fair, though, I didn't watch a lot of horror, like, when I was, like, young because, like, super religious household type situation. Okay. But Scream was definitely one that I saw and I really loved for those same reasons. I also like the sequels, too. Like, I saw Scream 2, Scream 3. I never really paid as much attention to them. Until like Scream 4 came out, I started like pay a little bit more attention to like the whole franchise in general. Right. You're putting me on to Scream 2, man, because now I'm gonna go back and like really go and look at that. Tap back into Scream
2, man. Scream 2 was dope. It was dope. The only thing is the pacing kind of kills it because the movie kind of stalls in the middle because it's just a lot. They're trying to establish a lot, and but Scream 2 was dope. Scream 3, yeah.
Now I heard a story about Scream 2 also that the script had leaked online or something like that.
The script leaked online, and the killers were different and everything. Like the whole movie kind of played out differently. I wasn't as tapped in at the time. I used to be on the internet at the time, but I wasn't tapped into the leaks at the time. So the script leaked. Yeah, the script leaked, and I think they just started shuffling things around. And the crazy thing about Scream 2 is Scream 1 released December 96. Scream 2 released December 97.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And it wasn't even like a full year to the date. So that turnaround is crazy.
Yeah.
And for the movie to be that good, it's like, like movies could fall off the I mean, like, like the equally, the Scary Movie franchise. The Marlon Wayans, Sean and Marlon Wayans talks about how, Harvey Weinstein and them kind of wanted a similar turnaround for Scary Movie 2. And they was like, and it's true. I like Scary Movie 2, but if you look at the quality in comedy in Scary Movie 1 and 2, one is written, you know, it's a real parody. 2, like Marlon described it as a bunch of bits, like a bunch of little, you know what I'm saying? And you kind of get that feel, even though it was good, it's like, yeah, this one wasn't really fleshed out all the way. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, so same Scream 2, they did it. They turned it around.
Yeah.
Scream
I was gonna say this from Scream 5 to Scream 6 was like also like
same thing.
Quick turnaround too. Nobody likes Scream 3. I gotta say I love that scene when they walk by Jay and Silent Bob on the set of the movie. I don't know why that is so funny to me. I don't know why. Like,
man, I remember seeing Scream 3.
Yeah,
I was hyped, you know, and it just didn't do nothing for me. It was very Scooby-Doo mystery. They was all running in packs with each other, and also the Columbine shooting really altered that script.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
You know, because now this was America when school shootings was very rare. You know what I'm saying? So when Columbine happened, a lot Hollywood just started changing. They started action projects, things that was considered too violent. They started changing things around. So Scream 3 kind of, you know, went aloof. Kevin Williamson wasn't writing it. Aaron Kruger. Oh man, what movie did Aaron Kruger end up writing? He ended up writing a big film. But and somebody else did some uncredited rewrites. It just went through a lot, and it shows in the final product. I don't really care for it. I feel that. You know, Scream 4 comes around. I was hyped for that one,
right? Because
it was 11 years after Scream 3. I'm like, yes, let's go, let's get it going again. This is one of my favorite franchises, and it was cool.
Yeah.
It was cool. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It I really hated that Anthony Anderson death scene.
That
shit was so
funny. It was like
just like, what? Like you get stabbed in the head. Fuck Bruce Willis. It's like okay, like what the like it leaned a little bit too much in the humor sometimes. Just like three really did, but 4 had some moments. It was like, come on, man, I want this to be dark. It was shot. You see the way Scream 4 is shot? It's like glossy.
Right. That's like very 2011 like music video kind of look.
Yeah, they said that they were going for like the look of reboots at the time or something like that.
Yeah. Because that was also the same time as like Texas Chainsaw Massacre reboot. They did the other one. That was the 3D joint that they did with Trey Songz.
Oh, there was another Texas Chainsaw.
That was another Texas.
Yeah.
So they had multiple Texas Chainsaw around that time, and then they had another one that was Bloody Valentine. Yeah, they had a lot of those reboots. I was at that time.
Reboots, remakes was galore. Right. Like it was like all the horror IPs you could think of was getting run back. Even Jason, which that's the last time we see Friday the 13th, is in 2009. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And that was Michael Bay produced that one.
Right. Yeah. Right. And then they had that terrible Nightmare on Elm Street remake with another Michael Bay production.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, that came at that time, and then Scream 4 kind of fell flat on audiences. I think at that point the slasher Scream, the first Scream, revitalized the slasher genre. You know, with its social commentary and all of that was going on, and the way they just it was like a facelift. And then by the time 4 rolled around, it was just kind of like, you guys did this already. Y'all in Woodsboro, y'all killing kids at the same high school. Nothing really, you know. Now, last year, Scream 5 comes along, and it was dope. It
brought new energy back.
Yeah, it was dope. I liked it. And now we here with Scream 6. Man, this shit, like 6 movies in, this was dope. Like this was really like this jumped over 5 for me. For me, like it's like the first 2 and then this one.
Okay, so it's like one of your top 3 in the whole
absolutely top 3.
Right.
Solid top 3. This shit was brutal. I mean, like we seeing people getting stabbed up. You getting good shots of the knife in it. They twisting the knife. It's like, yo, like I'm sitting there in the theater like, ooh, I'm wincing in the theater. I'm like, yo, and then it was just, yo, and the characters now, like, and that's the whole thing about Scream. Like we fell in love with the original characters. You know what I'm saying? Sidney, Gil Weathers, Dewey, you know, Randy. They found a way to, because you know, with the last one, I was like, oh. They're gonna try to make, you know, Mindy just like her uncle Randy. They're gonna try to do this. They're gonna try to do that. But by this time, I was convinced. I like the core 4, man. I like these characters. I could rock with them. You know what I'm saying? I could rock with these characters. It felt like a family. Everybody felt like a family. It just felt it's just a really good movie, a solid movie. I have very little complaints about it. The complaints I do have is really nitpicky.
Right.
Like, again, it's shot in New York. I'm seeing a bodega. That shit. First of all, a store called a bodega. It's a Hispanic store. A Hispanic man's supposed to be there running that joint. You got some white dude. Abe Snake's bodega is a white dude. Big ass store. It's just little things. It was like, yo, they needed somebody from New York to really kind of get things down pat. But it was cool, man. But the movie was good, man. The shit was entertaining. I saw it twice. I actually was waiting to see it the Friday night with my daughter, and my man hit me. He's like, yo, I just got out of it and I bought another ticket to go back. I said, is that good? And I went that night, Thursday night. I went to like the last show. Yeah. I was like, yo, I just won't tell my daughter I saw it before her, but I went to the last show, saw it, and I saw it the next day again with her. Yo, it was fun. It's funny. Not like it's not a comedy, but it has moments with its humor. Like I found myself reacting more. I don't react in theater. I'm not really a ooh, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's rare that I do react. But I found myself reacting a lot. It was dope, man. It was dope. I really liked it.
Yeah, no, it was. I thought it was really dope too. Yeah, like you said, they really amped up the brutality of it. It's funny. Like Mindy is always like so self-referential with like how she breaks down everything. But yeah, it is a bigger budget. It is like higher production value. You can see it all the way throughout. And by the way, I saw it in 3D. Like I was,
I was thinking about going, but I'm so jaded from the whole. Remember when there was a 3D era?
Right. They just do anything in 3D.
Yeah, when you could tell the shit was not shot in 3D. Yeah, and that's where it becomes a waste of time. How was the 3D experience?
It was literally that. Like it was literally just so you didn't miss anything. It was mad times I took off the glasses and just looked like a normal movie with just things slightly out of focus. So I was like, yo, they barely touched it.
So what was the point of going 3D?
I don't know. You know what I mean? There were some times where the knife kind of jammed a little bit, but it was super quick. Like the knife came out or some blood came, you know what I mean? But it wasn't significant.
It ain't that James Cameron though.
Yeah, it wasn't that Avatar 3D.
Yo, time out real quick. Yeah. Avatar, yo, I played myself, son. Right. I saw the first Avatar and I was just kind of like, yeah, I didn't remember shit after the first Avatar, but I was like, yo, it was a dope theater experience. Yo, that second one was real. And that theater experience, next Avatar, was it like 4 more that's gonna be coming out?
Yeah, 3 more, yeah.
Yo, if you're gonna go rock with Avatar, please see it in 3D. Yeah. That boy James Cameron 3D is a problem.
Dolby 3D. Dolby 3D.
Yes.
If you see it in that Dolby Vision, that Dolby 3D, Dolby Atmos, that's the way. Like,
yeah.
That mug is like literally calculated to like match the frame rate of your eyes. It's like it's perfect, bro. It's like that Disneyland. It's like a Disneyland attraction.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't want to hear about no other 3D film. If it ain't a James Cameron joint, I'm not checking it. Right. So when I saw the screen was in 3D, I'm just kind of like, I could do without that. You know what I'm saying? I could do without it. Right. I could do without it.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun watching it. I will say for one, I loved the way they brought Courtney Cox back as Gail. You know what I mean? Like she was in it, but she wasn't really in it. So I appreciated that they still kind of showing some legacy characters in there. The directors of this movie, the whole production team, I think they're called Radio Silence. Yeah. They did Ready or Not, which is one of my low-key, very underrated horror film that, also touches on class and equality and all that kind of stuff. Really good directors, and I feel like the first Scream, they kind of were a little bit more chained up. They're a little bit more like, we're trying to keep it safe.
Exactly. Because you gotta think about it. Like there was people pissed off that it was just called Scream.
Right.
You're disrespecting Wes. It's like, ease up, calm down. You know what I'm saying? So they kind of they had a lot of pressure with that first one.
They did. So they definitely took it and ran with it. So I think that bold vision. I mean, that opening, we could talk a little bit spoilers. You know what I mean? People right now, we letting it off.
Yo, you should have saw it last week.
Right. So as we're getting into the spoiler talk, man, that first kill with Samara Weaving, yeah, that was creative because
Yes.
you think, oh, she's in a restaurant, ain't no way it's gonna work out this way.
Yeah.
She's studying horror movies, she's studying slashers, and then somehow it gets walked into that, and then the kill happens, and then it's revealed to be Tony Ravioli.
Yeah, yo.
And then
But when I heard the voice on the phone, I knew it was him. But I was like, wait, because I was like, I could hear him. That's him.
Right.
So I know that's him. I'm like, but what are they gonna do? So of course, when he gets the final slash, the camera stays on him, and they show him. So I'm like, wait a minute, what the fuck are they trying to do with this?
It's different. Yeah.
I'm like, yo, are we gonna know who the killer is all along?
Right.
And then it takes us to his apartment,
house,
and he bumps into Tara. That's when I was just like, yo, at that point, my mind was just racing. Like, yo, what are they doing?
Right.
And then when they took it there, and then it reveals, then I was starting to think that if you guys are familiar with the Scream fans online, they're trying to start this whole Stu cult narrative that Stu survived the first film. Matthew Lillard survived the first film, and he's starting to get a cult of killers. And I heard that was an original idea for Scream 3 at one point. So when I seen that Tony Ravioli is the killer, he has masks, you know what I'm saying? And that they're talking about wanting to kill. I'm like, is that where they're going? So, yo, shout out to Radio Science, because they had me going early, and that's how you pull anybody in a film. You got to have somebody, you know what I'm saying? I like scrambling, you know what I'm saying? Trying to figure out, especially when a film like Scream, the film's been pretty much formulaic, the entire franchise.
And that's what I was gonna say. They subverted, like they found ways to subvert like expectations almost every step of the way, even with still kind of keeping the honor to the original Scream formula too. So it's like it's even with the casting of Tony Ravioli, like we see him in Spider-Man, you think he's a nice guy, you're like, no way he's a killer. You know what I mean? And then but then you see he had his boyfriend or whatever chopped up in the refrigerator too. That was some sick. That was some sick imagery right there too.
Yeah.
So every step of it, I love that you could go and watch this movie because by the end of it, it's revealed, again, spoiler, it's 3 killers, right? I love the fact that I could like go back and kind of almost theorize, okay, who was where and what particular time? Because now I'm like thinking, like, was that the police officer? Was it Annie, or was it a combination or both? Or you know what I mean? Like, it just like all these ways you could just think about it, and I appreciate adding that extra level of complexity to it.
Right. So again, because we're giving out spoilers, the 3 killers ended up being the police officer, Sam's roommate, which is Quinn.
Yeah, my bad.
And then the son was Ethan.
Ethan, yes, Avatar kid.
The kid from Avatar.
Which is so funny. You could tell they shot that movie like mad years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. He's a little kid in that movie. Now he's a grown man. But that's just funny to me.
And this all ties. It's kind of like tying back to Scream 2 in a way where in Scream 2, it's revealed that one of the killers is Billy's mom. Right. This one, it's Richie. One of the killers from Scream 5 is his father, brother, and sister. They all trying to avenge, his death because. And that's another thing I did like about this one. It was Sam and the backlash she received after the events of Scream 5. It was really tapped into, the weirdos online and their conspiracy, the Reddit and, Twitter conspiracy theories.
It's almost like self-hate against the movie, too. Like how people kind of were hating on Scream 5 before they even saw it. Yes. And then we had these conspiracy theories about it before even seeing what the movie was about.
And remember, a lot of Scream fans did not like Sam in the first in the last film. They didn't buy her. They didn't care for her story and stuff. And I think the character redeems herself in this one. I really like Melissa Barrera this time around. I mean, I liked her last time, but it's like this one. It was like okay, like I'm really feeling her character. Tara, Jenna Ortega, cute girl.
Yeah, Jenna Ortega.
She's a very cute. It's weird though because she looks.
She looks young.
She looks 13.
Young. Yeah, right. That's why I'm like, I don't know.
Do you know?
Yeah. Because she literally from the first Scream movie to now, she had that Wednesday show on Netflix. Yeah. Literally became a global megastar. So now it's like I almost think they almost gonna find a way to like bump up her role, like going forward, especially like. I don't know, like this movie got me thinking of so many ways the characters could go. Like the way Sam is kind of almost leaning into the whole her father situation. Like, what's that gonna lead to?
Her father being Billy, for those that don't know.
Right. So it's like, And is she gonna was her going to turn in the next movie or something? And it's gonna be Jenna Ortega as the lead. I don't know. It gets me thinking of all these mad ways they could just get, but they found creative ways to just lay those Easter eggs and lay those little seeds, because she's almost Sam's pushed to that point, almost she isn't violent. She wasn't violent in the first in Scream 5. When she had to kill, she barely wanted to do it, but she felt motivated.
And
to.
she says in this one, she tells the psychiatrist, "Yo, I enjoyed it."
Right. After she did, after she does it, well, that's the sign of a killer. You know what I mean? That's the sign of people who actually own some. So I like that they are really getting and laying Easter eggs for further pieces of the franchise too.
Yeah, man. This one was dope, and they already. I mean, before the movie came out, they greenlit 7.
Right.
Which we knew was going to happen, and then this one scored it grabbed the franchise best $44 million at the box office, beating Scream 3's record of 34 or something like that. So,
and it was without Neve Campbell too. So.
Yeah, well, you know what, man? Listen, man. Let my good sis Sydney, have some peace, man. We talking because it's it was so weird. It was even weird seeing her come back for 5, because it's kind of they established that she got married to the police officer in Scream 3, Mark Kincaid, I believe was his name. Mark Kincaid, I might be wrong. It was played by Patrick Dempsey. And so in Scream 5, they're she's married to him. She has 2 kids. And she's going back to Woodsboro for what? It's why?
Right.
How do you tell your husband that, sorry, honey, there's some murders in my old town. I'm about to go see what's up. You know what I'm saying? I just didn't really, I mean, of course, if I love seeing Neve Campbell, but I didn't really need to see her in the last one. You know?
Right.
So, and her character is just, she's been dealing with this for the last 20-something years. So it's it was good to see her get a little break for once.
It was good to see her get a break, and I'm glad I feel like they subbed her in for Kirby. They subbed her in Kirby, Hayden Panettiere.
I almost forgot. Hayden Panettiere. She was probably the best thing in Scream 4.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
they identified what was the best part. They brought that back. She was really good. My only problem with her, and I think it's a problem with the whole franchise, but I think especially with this movie, fam, you ain't not gonna get shot 3 times and stabbed and still gonna get up and start walking.
Yo, not for nothing. Everybody was getting stabbed.
Bro,
everybody.
Homeboy Chad, what is his name? My guy was getting sliced and diced like fucking cheese, bro. He was looking like a charcuterie board by the time they was done with him, and he was still breathing. Are you kidding me?
Well, they clearly trying to make him the new Dewey. Remember Dewey? But remember, and that's another thing. They getting stabbed and then they walk. He's still throwing a little joke as he's on the stretcher. Dewey was fucked up in Scream 2 when he got stabbed up that time. Dewey could barely talk. You know what I'm saying? So it's I don't know, man. It got a little. That was one of the few little things that I'm just kind of damn, because it almost feels like nobody really died in the film.
No, really, the core 4's still there. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it was really.
It was a lot of close calls.
Right.
Except for that scene with the ladder in the apartments.
Oh yeah, that was crazy. Yeah,
that was crazy. That girl died. You know what I mean? The killers died. I feel like mostly killers died in this film. Between the opening kills and but I don't know. Maybe they setting us up for something big in 7, man. You think we might lose some of the core 4 or something?
I think bro, they keep baiting us with Courtney Cox, bro. Just let it go. Let that go. I thought that was really gonna be the end of it for her in this movie. Just let the legacy people go. Let maybe one of the core 4 go. You know what I mean? Or I don't know how I don't really know how it's gonna work, but they could definitely amp up. I feel like they gotta get real with it. Because honestly, that's my problem with a lot of modern horror these days, with even the new Candyman. Shout out to that movie. I thought it was a little crazy how it was almost no people of color died in that movie. Obviously, that's the point. That's what Candyman was about. But I'm dang, bro, that's almost I could predict who's gonna get killed or not. I'm I can't. So I don't know. I kind of wanted to go back to that unpredictability factor.
Right.
So same way they had that opening thing that was unpredictable. Give me more of that, but with the main characters. You know?
I feel like they said it. I don't want to say failure because again I really enjoyed the film, but I feel like they raised our expectations with the opening kill and how things was, like you said, subverted, and then it kind of, even the stuff that Mindy was saying, the rules, you know what I'm saying? It didn't live up to the rules.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
right. Yeah, she set the rules, but nobody really died. Yeah, you're right. So, yeah, man. But still, good movie overall. Great movie. Good. Yeah, great film. Yeah, I have to go. I haven't really looked at those sequels, so I got to go back and look at how I rank them. But yeah, I probably would say it's probably one of my top 2 or 3 up there.
It's top 3 for me. For me, it starts with Scream. Scream 2 is a very close second. 6, 5, 4, then 3.
Okay.
And the thing is about this franchise is that it's pretty efficient. I mean, like, okay, I didn't really like 3, but 3 is not a bad film. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like, Halloween, 5 and 6 bad. You know what I'm saying? It's you can enjoy the film. Like,
that's what I'm saying. I enjoy it just as a
you could enjoy it. It's just a little thing I didn't like. I didn't like Cotton Weary dying in the beginning. Not that I cared for the character. It's just his opening kill I didn't care for. I didn't like the voice changer thing. I get it. We got AI stuff now that's you could I seen Jay-Z rapping along to Munch or something like that. And it shit sounded like Jay. You know what I'm saying? We do have AI, but I just didn't like that. It was a few things I didn't like. It was, again, the Scooby-Doo shit. Parker Posey played I forget her character's name, but she was basically gonna play Gail Weathers in the Stab movies. She's super campy in 3. It just took me out of the film. But it's not a terrible film. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's but it's just not my favorite. It's the least favorite out of all of them. You know?
I feel that. Yeah, definitely understandable. On that. Yeah, I mean, Scream. I gotta check them all out. So I gotta see how I rank them. But yeah, I probably would put 3 probably closer to the bottom. Because I think four I did enjoy probably a little bit more. So yeah. But yeah, man, I got hype for the next one. Hopefully more Scream, more good horror, more good slasher movies.
Hey, let me ask a question, man. What's up with Ghostface attacking sisters in plain sight?
Right.
Jada gets stabbed up in the theater, Mindy getting stabbed up in the train, and it was so true to New York. New Yorkers, we could see an old lady getting mugged, and we gonna look the other way. Like, this shit ain't got nothing to do with me. Cuz, Grandma better fight for herself. You know what I mean? Because I've seen people jump in situations trying to play hero, and they get beat up.
Right. They get cut up. Or something. Yeah. That's how it be. That's how you gotta mind your business sometimes. Sometimes it's okay to mind your business. You know what I mean? Not everybody could be Superman. You know what I'm saying? Right. But yeah, man, I was gonna say, did you watch anything else this past week or anything? Or
did I? Nah, I've yet to see Woman King. I was trying to watch it, but I've been so busy, so busy. I'm trying to sit down and watch.
Queen Viola for that. She should have definitely been nominated. I feel like for that film.
A lot of people said that.
Yeah. I think that's one of the best movies.
But I think Viola is such a layup because then again, I was gonna say you're getting a great performance out of her, but then I forgot about the Michelle Obama Showtime thing. She even said it wasn't a good. She didn't like what she did to do. That shit became a meme. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, I was trying to watch that. What else did I watch? I feel like
finish The Last of Us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I did finish Last of Us.
Yeah. What are your thoughts overall?
It was dope. The thing is, I didn't play the game, but it was spoiled to me.
Right.
So I kind of know what to expect going forward. It was kind of a cliffhanger. I didn't expect it to end when it ended.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right,
I was watching it, and it was like, oh shit, it's over. Oh.
Right.
So I guess they're definitely gonna follow it up.
Right. It's interesting. Like somebody who played the game, like that whole last episode is really like the last third or fourth of the game, so it's like 25 to 33%. So they really compacted it down a lot. I thought they could have ran for that a little bit longer. Even that whole, the shootout is like probably one of the longest sequences, like action wise, in the game too. So, but that's probably why it took so long. But like if you, I enjoyed it. I do think, I like what they added to the game. I also thought, Pedro Pascal, he's just like he's a dope actor. I do wonder, like, I don't want them to just jump to 5 years later. That the Last of Us 2, that's pretty much what they do.
Okay.
So I just hope they just don't do that. Like, I hope if they go to a season 2, like we can see a little bit more of this story progress, like in this relationship. Just give us some, you know, some different, and maybe take those parts that they cut out and maybe sprinkle them in like somewhere else.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? But overall though, hyped on the show, and the action is dope. You know what I mean? That last silent shootout was like super sad. You know, it's funny like seeing the vast difference of like Pedro Pascal in this role versus like just his voice on Mandalorian or, you know, all the other things that he's in. He's like mad goofy in like that Nick Cage movie or whatever.
He came out of nowhere. I feel like the first time I saw him or heard of him was Mandalorian. I could be wrong.
It was in Game of Thrones. He was a big part of Game of Thrones.
I didn't watch that.
Yeah. A lot of people. That's how he got the big thing was like Game of Thrones. Yeah.
I don't do good with, you know, knights, dragons. Yeah, that's not really my flavor because I know
that.
You know, it just ain't, you know, ain't no brothers, you know. I don't know. I just feel like they got black people in Game of Thrones, but I'm like, black people wasn't really in that shit. You know?
Yeah. They tried to do more of House of Dragons. I didn't watch either of them, but I heard that House of Dragons they tried to put more black people in.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely I seen one get beheaded, brother with locks. I was like, oh shit, they got brothers with locks in it. All right, that's
right. They try and get with it.
You know? Yeah,
man. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Speaking of HBO, man, I watched this weird experimental documentary. It's called I have to pronounce it like super crazy because it's spelled weird, but it's called Symbiotoxicoplasm. Symbiotoxicoplasm.
The fuck is that about?
It's a crazy movie. Came out, I believe, in 1969, 1970, something like that.
Okay.
Or 70, something like that. It's about this this brother. His name is Bill Graves.
Okay.
And he's trying to direct. He's making this movie, and he's in pre-production for this movie, but he's having the documentary is about filming the behind the scenes of the making of the movie. Okay. So it's like weird because a lot of the crew members are like kind of, for one, they're like the stage that the movie starts in is like auditioning actors, trying to rehearse with actors. It kind of, the script like that they're auditioning with kind of makes no sense. And then we see a lot of the behind the scenes footage. This Bill Graves dude, again, he's a brother, like all white crew. He kind of talks. He doesn't really know what he's like saying like fully. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like a little bit like the direction's a little aimless. But then it's fascinating because you watch behind the scenes footage of like the whole crew talking about him, and literally it's all on film in this documentary of them saying like, yo, the director, he doesn't have any idea what he's doing. What are we gonna do? Are we gonna salvage this film? Like, what are we gonna do? So then literally they start trying to brainstorm ways of like, oh, could we maybe film some other scenes like when he's away and like things that. So it's like a whole it's like but then you don't really know if it's, and then they even question in the documentary, it's like, is this all his intention? Is this like a social experiment?
Let me ask you something. Yeah. As you talking, it's starting to come to me. Did you see Am I Black Enough for You on Netflix?
I haven't seen that one. No.
Okay. It's basically a video essay. Like it's like a whole video essay. And I feel like that film was covered. I'm gonna go back and check it out. So it's a doc on the making of that film though.
This is the film. Like the film is about the film is this. Like the film is what I'm describing. The film is the behind the scenes of making this movie. The movie never came out. I think it's called, the movie they claimed they were filming was called Over the Cliff or whatever. But that's not, like the movie is this. The movie is Symbiotoxicoplasm. So it's an hour and 15. And again, he directed the movie, he produced the movie, and he edited the movie. So he was literally watching all this footage of people talking about, you know, is this really a vision? Like, does he know what he's talking about? Kind of situation.
That's fucked up.
But then again, it's like, so then there's people who read this movie as, oh, he planned this whole thing. It's like a early Nathan Fillion, like him doing a social experiment. There's people who read it that way. I personally read it, and then there's Charlie Kaufman, you know, the guy who wrote like Cinedope New York, and I pronounced that one wrong. But the one he based it. What's that early movie he did that everybody talked about?
Charlie Kaufman.
Yeah. The one, Joey, man, he did. I'm
gonna have to check.
Yeah, he did. He's a writer, and he did. Being John Malkovich. Okay. That's what he did. Being John Malkovich, and then he did another one after that. That was with Nick Cage, adaptation.
Yes.
That's the one.
He did Eternal Sunshine.
Eternal Sunshine. That's what he's most famous for. Eternal Sunshine is what he's most famous for. Yeah, right. But adaptation is loosely kind of inspired by this movie in the sense of like it's about the behind the scenes of like making a movie, like kind of situation. So it's weird. So people read it as like an ultimate commentary about cinema. Like, is he a social experiment? I personally, I read it probably the same way we're reading it, just describing it. It's really just a white crew, you know, really downplaying the director and not knowing like what's going on. You know what I mean? So then, but the way it's just, you have to watch it. Everybody at home,
I'm gonna check
this out. It's an hour 15. It's an easy watch.
Oh, that's light.
Yeah. And it's just super weird, but it's fascinating to think about.
Man, I always, you know, speaking of black filmmakers, I be seeing these stories. Like I was watching the making of, you know, Jurassic Park 3 and stuff like that. And these motherfuckers is going into production with no script.
Wow. Yeah.
What the fuck? Like, how you?
That's how I did the first Iron Man. Yeah.
What you mean?
The first Iron Man, they said multiple times. I mean, I went to SC. Kevin Feige spoke at SC multiple times. He said they had no script for that first Iron Man. Like, it was just a basic outline, and
they was just running,
just riffing. Yeah, just improv. Like,
what black filmmakers getting away with that?
That's why I find it interesting about that movie is because like I think if it was a white filmmaker, nobody would have been asking questions. Everybody would have been rolling with it.
Right.
But because he's a brother and because it's, you know, mostly white people we working with, it's like they're not looking crazy.
Yo, it's like, you know, when like, you know, on another thing, Sam Levinson.
Oh, with the Idol.
Yeah. Not even. Oh no, not that.
Right.
That too, though.
Right.
But when I heard that he was going to set for Euphoria with no shot list. What you mean you don't got no shot list?
Right.
What the fuck is going on?
Aren't you the director? Like, isn't that the point?
Joe, RB, you are a filmmaker.
Right.
Imagine going to set with no shot list.
Right.
You know how long them days gonna be?
Right. You're just gonna sit there. You're just trying to figure things out. Like, you're just You're literally experimenting on the day. Like, I think this might be good if we do this.
You experiment on these people,
wasting time. Essentially. Yeah.
This shit, the shit, and you know, the shit that white filmmakers can get away with, it is crazy.
Yeah,
it is crazy. Some days I want to pull out what little bit of hair I have whenever I hear these stories because I know so many filmmakers personally, and they're like directing under the gun. It's like they even the more established ones. I have conversations with those that are top tier filmmakers,
right?
And they're like, yo, we gotta push it,
right. Studio this, you know, producers that, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Don't get me started on the producers talking to some of these filmmakers like they're not established as is. Producers treating them like this is their first time making a film,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then to hear another, because Sam Levinson is another Nepo situation, if I'm not mistaken.
Barry Levinson.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And now he's and then what was going on with the Idol too?
So apparently, I don't even want to like. I can't even repeat a lot. I don't want to repeat a lot of these details, but allegedly, like they had, you know, they filmed a lot of the Idol show, and then
is The Weeknd in that?
The Weeknd is so Sam Levinson is The Weeknd are like co-creators of it. They had I guess Sam Levinson directed the first couple. Then it was a woman director who handled a lot of the rest of the episodes. Long story short, apparently a lot of the season that they filmed with the female director, they just threw a lot of that out, and they just like they wanted to Sam Levinson got back in and just, you know, was directing it himself, allegedly, or got some other team of people directing it or something. But, you know, allegedly his version, the rewritten version, is like way more like torture porn. Like, you know, apparently there was a scene in the script that didn't get filmed of like The Weeknd, you know, beating the shit out of homegirl, and then like she's, you know, she's telling him to rape her, and then he does. I don't know. So it's like weird, you know what I mean? So then it's like again, they didn't film that. Apparently there was another scene where and the woman is Johnny Depp's daughter, Lily Depp or something like that. So and then apparently there's another scene where she was gonna walk with an egg in her snatch or something like that, but they couldn't film it because they couldn't figure out how to do it. So it's just weird stuff, man. It's just all these weird stories. So and you know, and then you hear those weird stories on Euphoria too, like you know, why, you know, the sex scenes and you being on set, you know, and then
you know what I didn't like, and I knew it was a power play Ferreira.
Cat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is her name Barbie Ferreira?
Barbie Ferreira. Yep.
Yo, you was hearing whispers that they had issues on set. She did not like. She was barely in season 2.
Non-existent. Yeah.
Like it was almost like he was like, you know what, fuck that bitch, get all her shit out of here.
Right.
And you could tell it was like, you know what I'm saying, it came off like that.
Right. Yeah, and she's not even in season 3. So
yeah, she's
so
done.
Yeah, super. Yeah, I mean that's just how it. That's the unfortunate side of Hollywood, man. It's like these nepo babies. They do the thing. I mean, I watched another crazy movie. I gotta talk to you about next week, bro. But we got a whole. It's a whole conversation.
That's the next. That's a whole show.
Yeah. I don't know if it's a whole show, but it's definitely it's crazy because I'm starting thinking about. We gotta talk about it. Yeah,
we will do that.
Right.
We will do that.
Right.
Oh,
man. But yeah, man. That's again, it's all. I don't know, man. I don't really know what to watch these days. You know what I mean? Yeah.
For me, it's just all about finding time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Finding time to watch stuff. I'm always trying to watch something new. I told myself this year I was going to watch something new every day. I remember I used to date a girl back in the day, and she was like, she challenged me as a cinephile. She was like, "You're not no real cinephile. You got to stop watching the same stuff over and over again." You know what I'm saying? I got a little offended. Like, what the hell you mean? You trying to call me ignorant? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I do need to, watch more, and that's something I plan to do every week. That's why we start the show every week with what you watching.
Right.
So I'm taking it upon myself to watch something new every single week. Right. I slipped up this week just because there was a lot going on, but yeah, I mean, I'm gonna try to see something new this week. I don't know. I gotta look and see what I haven't really tapped into, what I want to tap into.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But as far as the movie going goes, there's a lot of good stuff coming up soon. I didn't realize Super Mario Brothers is coming up so soon.
Yeah, in April. Yeah.
I gotta check that out. I feel like so far this year, the movies has been alright.
Yeah, they've been good, man. I mean, John Wick 4 is coming out, I think, next weekend.
That's one that I have to catch up to. I saw the first one and it was dope.
Right.
I never really checked the sequels.
Right. They're the exact same movie, and I love them for that. You know what I mean? It's just literally just pure action.
I love a movie. I love a movie that knows what it is,
right?
And it gives you just that. You don't need to listen, man. Ain't nobody going to John Wick to see some life altering shit. You want to see Keanu Reeves, some gun. I saw the trailer was it Scream or something else? I saw the trailer and it looked crazy. I was like, oh shoot, okay. Yeah. See something like he was fighting in traffic or something like that.
Right.
Yeah,
those are just pure action flicks, bro. So yeah,
those are okay. I don't need a whole lot from those. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think we actually need more of those because the world is so fucking wacky right now. We need stuff like that just kind of just take us out. That's why I love the Marvel films.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But they've been slacking. You know what I mean? A lot. There's rumors that they might be trying to shake up some like leadership or shake up the way they're handling things.
I heard Bob Iger came back and was like, "Yo, y'all spending money all crazy. Like y'all gotta tighten up."
Right. Yeah, they've been doing layoffs and all that. I mean, hey man, listen, if they If Marvel could go back to the quality that they were pre-Endgame, like that's the way to go. Because I even go back, post Phase 4, like it's really only like 3 good movies. You know what I mean? Shang-Chi, I personally put up there. You could put No Way Home up there. It's not
I love No Way Home.
You love No Way Home?
Yeah, I love No Way Home, man. That shit was dope.
Right.
I like Doctor Strange.
Yeah, Doctor Strange. I liked it at first, but I don't know if I'm really loving it the more and more like as time goes by. You know what I mean?
I've ran it back a lot. My daughter watches it a lot. So
oh, okay. She likes it.
Yeah.
What's the part that like the young people like? What's your daughter like? Was she like America Chavez or is she?
My daughter is very much like me in the sense of she like dark shit.
Oh, okay. Oh, so she's the Wanda, it's the horror.
Yeah. Okay. She likes dark shit just like me. Like I was a kid. I was like 5-6 years old watching Tales from the Crypt. I was not really, I was watching, like, I remember I just saw Goofy movie for the first time like 3 years ago because when it came out originally, I was not checking for it. I was 95, I went to the theaters to go see Clockers. I was in the theaters to see Waiting to Exhale.
Right.
My mom was taking me to see rated R movies thinking that I wasn't paying attention.
Right.
But I was soaking all that shit up. You know what I'm saying? So my daughter is the same way. She likes her kiddie stuff, but she like again, Scream. She is obsessed with Scream right now.
Oh,
She's
nice.
just like I was
That's
at her
right.
age. So
That's dope, man.
like she likes stuff like that. That's why I had no problem taking her. I'm pretty sure people looked at me crazy when, you know,
Right.
people are getting gored and, you know, I got my child next to me, but she had fun with the film, man. That's she's into dark stuff, man. So she liked the zombie, you know, like you said, the Wanda stuff, you know, because, you know, Multiverse of Madness kind of teetered along the lines of horror.
Right.
You know?
It's that Sam Raimi effect.
Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
And this is why I liked it so much. I feel like he's a perfect filmmaker for that Doctor Strange story. You know what I'm saying? I want to see more of him.
Yeah. I like the I like the first Doctor Strange a lot too.
I didn't like that one.
Oh, so you didn't like that one? Okay.
So I gotta, but I saw WandaVision, and people was telling me like, yo, if you love WandaVision the way you say you do, go back and watch Doctor Strange again. You'll appreciate it better. So I gotta go run that back.
Yeah. When it comes to like trippy artwork, you know what I mean? Like you see right there.
You're right.
I'm just like, you know, go for it. 3D too, IMAX 3D when he's going into that trippy stuff. That's my stuff right there. But then I also say too, Sam Raimi, man. I mean, no matter how legendary he is, he's still gonna be pushing out movies. He got that new one, Evil Dead Rises. He didn't, you know, obviously he's not directing, but
I can't wait for that, man. Did you see they had a Q&A, I guess they screened it
at South by Southwest.
Yeah, somebody was like, this movie fucking sucks or something like that.
Oh, really?
Somebody yelled it out, and then Bruce Campbell was like, get him the fuck out of here, you know what I'm saying? Everybody booed him, you know, but I don't know if that dude was trolling, but nowadays everybody's so fucking stupid. I don't know what's real now, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna be in the theater for that one.
Yeah, Evil Dead, I'm definitely gonna be in
I'm gonna be in the theater for that one.
Yeah,
But yo, that was episode 3, man.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We had to tap into the Scream thing,
Right.
you know. We're still figuring the show out, you know what I'm saying? So we will be back soon. Let's try to make this a weekly thing.
Yeah, man, let's do it.
Let's try to make this a weekly thing. You know, again, shout out to everybody that's been giving feedback. You know, we're gonna keep doing this, man. We got something here. We're gonna keep doing it. So I am Mr. Marin.
It's boy RB3.
Yo, and we will see you when we see you. Peace.
Coming soon to a theater near you.